the Blessed Mother would take us on a etheric trip tonight, yet not so far away, up into the retreat of the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light, to give us some insights as to what this retreat is all about, various aspects of what it looks like, its purpose, etc. Within this sacred retreat, which is in the process of expanding and growing, there are many fountains. These are healing foci fountains, where through the crystalline aspect of the water element, a great light, the diamond crystal light, is accentuated and born within the entire environs, the atmosphere. It's almost a sacred mist that is all about this sacred retreat that enfolds the devotees who come here in their finer bodies in a beautiful field of holy energy that's so sacred that you are buoyed up in the light, you are raised out of all human consciousness into the divine light. There is a sacred sanctuary where we attend all manner of very special events and services. Yet it is in nature, and it is so special that it actually can expand to accommodate more souls who come here to participate in the alchemy that the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light engages in. There are classes of the Spirit, as in virtually all the retreats, taught by great masters, and in this case, primarily the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light, yet he has other Buddhas who come promulgating their teachings on the sacred virtues, the heart virtues that we've heard about from Gautama Buddha, as well as many other deeper mysteries that accentuate the Buddhic path of self-realization, and especially through the use of the 5 crystal rays. How using these rays in our work and service, using them in our lives consciously, allows us to draw the sacred quintessences, the 5 essences of these very special rays into form, into our lives, into all of our work and service, in order that these very subtle frequencies can provide blessings and boons, graces untold, healing energies at very subtle levels of consciousness. There is a special class dealing with, very similar to the subject that we dealt with last Sunday in our Mayra University class, the action of what transpires within the human temple through the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is very special in terms of what it does to provide a buffer and a boon for our body to thwart toxins from in any way infiltrating and compromising our various systems and organs. And the crystal rays flowing through both the glands of our system and the lymphatic system work their perfect work in regulating the higher frequencies that we are imbibing from the great central sun, step down through our sun and our own solar presence, our Christ consciousness, our Buddhic self or Buddha nature. So when these classes are taught on these quintessences, and the glories of them, and how we can architect in our world light and its many gradations. We are, of course, raised up, and there is a boon that is so great that it's if the soul never desires to return to the earth and its outer waking consciousness. It desires to stay in this very high frequency of Buddhic awareness. Yet, of course, we awaken in the morning, or we return from our high meditation to then engage in actually applying what we learn in the world of form to bring those crystal rays into manifestation in some way through our hands, our feet, and the love manifests through the thymus, which is very close to the crystal chamber of the heart. The classes that occur within this retreat are very specialized and yet very profound. And souls from around the world, especially initiates, spirits, come to perform alchemy with the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light to safeguard the earth, the peoples of the earth, especially the children and the women and the feminine beings embodied, from all manner of negative foci and projections and situations. So those children and the feminine beings embodied upon earth are at the forefront of bringing forth the energies of Aquarius into the earth through their consciousness wed to the Divine Mother and to all that the Mothers of Heaven teach and demonstrate and share. So we must pray for the women of this world and the children of this world, because through their sensitivity and through the high frequencies that are desirous of manifesting through them, they can be such a boon to what is dawning in the age of Aquarius that it's essential, it's necessary that they be allowed to give birth within the earth to these wonderful co-creations with the ascended hosts, with the angels especially. There is a contingent of angels that stay within and around this retreat to safeguard souls, to usher them to the classes, and to perform various alchemies with them, as they may be called upon in invocation to go forth and do certain things within the earth, in the command of these souls in the I Am name of God. These angels are magnificent beings, all crystalline in their nature. Many of them look like the crystal ray angels in our book on angels, angels, angels. In fact, David Kyle's work on the crystal ray angels is very important to meditate upon, and the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light and Mother Mary urge you to consider having a regular practice of actually, in addition to reading this book or excerpts from it, meditating on these crystal ray archangels and archei so that you can drink in these essences and have them embedded deep within your being for your refinement, for the edification of your souls in the glories of the Spirit, and so that these Aquarian energies can actually take root and unfold within your lives in beautiful and dynamic ways. So as I see in my higher vision center the crystal ray angels that come to support the work of the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light, it's a great collaboration of spirit. And this is one of the primary focuses in the higher etheric octaves of where the crystal rays are being focalized for the entire earth, right here over our sanctuary and expanding out 5 miles over Livingston, Montana. Edgar Cayce predicted that Livingston would be, or this area would be, the breadbasket to the world, and I believe that that can mean a couple things, including permaculture and natural agriculture, yet also the breadbasket of spiritual truth and teachings. And so what better to have for the Aquarian age than the beginnings of our mastery of the 5 crystal rays consciously within the earth. And so I see many of these classes focused on these teachings, the solar sciences, the higher cities that we've talked about, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustance. And so as we're able to perceive with our higher centers and then use those centers to fan forth and emanate light, crystalline diamond light, we are in a direct relationship with this Buddha and many Buddhas who are doing likewise, yet on a higher and more expansive scale. When we sing songs that, by God's grace, I've written, many of these frequencies are embedded within both the melodies and the words. And because I was actually, in my years before the Heart Center began, writing music after meditating and praying to Mother Mary, she was the one who actually, she reveals today, embedded within these musical renditions that Dean Anderson also very wondrously created the orchestrations and performed them beautifully, rendered them, was able to, Mother Mary was able to anchor these frequencies within them. They're very subtle, yet very powerful. And they can accomplish much in terms of preparing you for the initiations of the crystal rays. So another thing that transpires in this retreat is an ongoing discussion of the crystal ray initiations, how to pass our tests using the 5 cities, using our 5 sacred centers, how to utilize our hands in sacred work, our feet in sacred work, and our thymus, the crystal chamber of the heart, in very deep spiritual sacred work. And in the discussions that are held and in the questions and answers through the darshans that are experienced, the Buddha of the diamond crystal light, as well as other beings who focalize the 5 crystal rays, are there to assist the disciples in letting go of all sense of limitation of who they have been in human form lifetime after lifetime, to embrace who they truly are in the eternality of their reality. Isn't that a great term? The eternality of their reality as divine beings. As divine beings. There's a replica within this retreat of the Deer Park area where Gautama Buddha gave his first sermon after his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And there are many ruminants, many deer that come to Deer Park, but they don't hurt the trees and the plants, of course. In heaven, that doesn't happen. They are in the glory of their innocence, their beauty, their harmony with nature. And it's wonderful to meditate on the deer themselves because they represent humility, purity, innocence. There are many virtue Bodhi trees or virtue body trees. You could say either one, Bodhi tree, body tree. Virtue body trees, where these trees are amazing in what they present in terms of the fruits of the Spirit that we can imbibe, assimilate, and then utilize in our lives to glorify God and to expand the kingdom of heaven upon earth. One thing that the Buddha of the diamond crystal light says is a major teaching is for us to always remain positive. What we speak about begins to actually manifest in our world, because when we speak, we are anchoring energy through our vocal cords, through our throat chakra, in the world of form. So if we remain positive and always speak with an attitude of divine delight and joy and harmony and understanding and peace, we are co-creating through our vocal cords and through our speech the positive aspects of the kingdom of God right in our world. This is part of the reason why the masters have urged us to speak of good things and positive things rather than focalizing on the negative. There is a hallway within one particular crystalline building that is the hallway of the Buddhas, where the images are holographic of the heroic Buddhas of past ages and even of today, those who have attained to this level of awareness. And you see, when you contemplate these images in a holographic form, the very life challenges that they went through, the historical record and Akasha, and the overcoming through the virya of their beings to manifest that divine estate. You can see the lessons outplayed in the Akashic records of their victories and overcoming. You can see and feel what they were thinking, what they were contemplating, how they were assessing the situations that they moved through, and how they reached that level of perfection where they became enlightened, self-realized, illumined ones who then earn the ascension by God's grace. So this hallway of the Buddhas is a wonderful place to ask to be taken in your finer body, to really study the lives of the Buddhas, all of the Buddhas, and many that we don't know outwardly their name, because there have been hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of Buddhas throughout the ages who have reached that level of beautiful God attainment and who can teach us many things by simply reading the record. Yet it's not so much a reading of Akasha, it's the being in front of a divine visual, audio-visual, ultimate experience, even better than those wonderful surround sound theaters. What do they call them? The big ones? The what? IMAX theaters. Better than that, because it's multidimensional, and you can experience everything that is recorded within Akasha in a very cosmically sensorial way, to experience everything that you can learn about what transpired, in order to have embedded and etched within you the victory spirals and the knowledge and the wisdom of these great beings. Now, the healing foci fountains themselves are amazing. And when you are there, let's say, meditating with them and among them, or right almost within them, you are raised into a divine experience that is so ecstatic and blissful that you feel the currents that these fountains hold of very high pristine energies from the highest etheric octaves that are like mist. They're in the mist that's formed through the fountain and the action of the water. And by being within that mist, you are elevated into this ecstatic divine state where you perceive God and all of God's great beingness. You feel the presence. You know the totality of who you truly are as a God-created being. You enjoy who you are as God enjoys you as her son or daughter. You know, when we create babies through men and women coming together, and we look upon their face and their body temples when they're born, we're just amazed that this little creature came forth through the mother. Well, God still beholds us in the perfectionment of how she created us. And so when we observe this dynamic within this mystical field that's crystalline and perfect and divine and rich and divine light substance, it's just an amazing feeling and knowing experience to be restored to our original divine estate of illumined perfection, enlightened beingness, where all is just perfect. And we feel the divine design that God created us within through the sacred geometry of our beings. We understand how God created us, what our purpose is, what we are meant to accomplish, who we truly are within the greater context of the root races that we embodied through, and what our mission is and what our vision is, what God's vision of us and with us really is. And it's very healing to have this experience within these healing foci fountains, because having restored to us our perfect vision and the knowing of who we are is really about the greatest healing that we can go through, because knowing that we are God beings is essential for our self-realization and enlightenment and ultimate ascension. So it may seem a little simplistic in some senses that you can be enlightened within the midst of a great cosmic fountain of light. Yet when you understand the dynamics of life itself and light itself, the light that billows within and through these fountains as foci of perfection and divine glory, you can understand how important it is to stay there until you are fully ensconced in this energy field and you feel so elevated that you will never again lose the sense of your divineness, the suchness of your being, wed to spirit, always in the glory of God, the bosom of God, always feeling validated and knowing that you are cared for and trusted with a sacred mission, and that you are a holy being, a sacred being of light. This retreat is very special because all of what I've shared tonight from the Heart of Mary and seeing and explaining what is going on in this retreat is available for you to experience and enjoy in your finer body by invitation of the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light for 21 days beginning today in a very heightened and powerful way. You can go there anytime you desire by making the call, even right away or after the 21 days, but it will be open in a very powerful way for 21 days. Why? Because with all that's transpiring on the earth, with the fear that is being projected, with the dissonance that is being promulgated through the media and through the dark ones, we as initiates require a boost. We require an energetic boost to get us above and beyond all of the fear, all of the dialectics of darkness, all of the inanity and sanity, so that we remain in a very high vibrational frequency to do our work, to accomplish our mission, to fulfill the reason we came up to the earth in this embodiment, and then our greater mission within the context of what the Ascended Masters, the divine beings, the angels and archangels, and our sponsoring masters have prepared for us to work on. This association with the Buddha of the Diamond Crystal Light is very important for those here, especially in Montana, and whenever you choose to come here for events, for services, for gatherings of light. And the more you work on this association and enter into it with great dignity and with great humility, with great verve and joy, with great seeking to understand and opening yourself up to divine wisdom, the greater will be the infilling that occurs within your spirit to allow you to progress on your path of oneness with God. The greater will be this intelling light, and this intelling light is intelligence itself, divine intelligence. But it tells within you the stories of glory of God's creation. It inspires you and empowers you and enlightens you in mystical ways that will remain with you as you are centered in that light and seek ever to unfold the glories of God within your soul through your mission, live to God's glory. This discourse itself, to me, is very powerful because it gives us a sense of our greater purpose, why we have embodied and come to Montana and Livingston, to live in the glory of God, to participate in drawing forth that glory of God into our world through our prayers, our decrees, our chants, our songs, our dancing, our listening to the Master's messages, and our sharing with one another, and the facilitation of how these teachings will continue to be presented to the world and offered to humanity in our time and in future years, decades, and potentially even centuries. We are leaving our legacy of light every time we participate with the Masters in these services, in our individual meditation practice and silence and stillness, and in all that we do to serve one another, to serve others, and to bring our talents into play through the work of our hands, our hearts, and our heads. The Buddha of the diamond crystal light is involved right now in the mission of enlightening, illumining, and freeing thousands of souls, both in this area and throughout the world, through our broadcasts, every heart stream, and what we collectively do to promulgate these beautiful teachings and the missives of light and the engrams of cosmic fire that go forth through the action of our very dynamic prayer sessions, etc. So lest anyone think that it's more important to do this or that or be somewhere else than in the service of God in this sanctuary or in the higher sanctuaries, I hope you will reconsider and know how important you are to this dynamic and all that is transpiring for the victory of the light across the earth. Every retreat is connected by skeins of light. Every retreat has both the focal point of the release of light and also various areas where study occurs, where the Akashic records can be read or shown, and where souls of students of light across the earth come to learn, to study, to grow, to evolve. And as the various retreats and the masters who overshine them and sponsor them work in collaboration in this beautiful dynamic of these etheric cities and retreats, there is the architecting of the new earth within and through these crystal cities of light. It is the architecting of the new earth. And so each of you is an architect of the new earth. Did you know that? You are an architect of the new earth. Let's say I am an architect of the new earth. 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 I am a divine mystic knowing God more each day. I am a divine mystic knowing God more each day. I am a divine mystic knowing God more each day. I am a divine mystic knowing God more each day. I am self-realized within my Buddha nature now. 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 I am glorifying God and magnifying the Lord 24/7. I am glorifying God and magnifying the Lord 24/7. I am glorifying God and magnifying the Lord 24/7. I am glorifying God and magnifying the Lord 24/7. I am living in an ecstatic state within the unity field of beingness now and always. I am living in an ecstatic state within the unity field of beingness now and always. I am living in an ecstatic state within the unity field of beingness now and always. I am living in an ecstatic state within the unity field of beingness now and always. I am pure love, emanating cosmic light to all beings. I am pure love, emanating cosmic light to all beings. I am pure love, emanating cosmic light to all beings. I am pure love, emanating cosmic light to all beings. I am joyous in all my co-creative work with my Lord. I am joyous in all my co-creative work with my Lord. I am joyous in all my co-creative work with my Lord. I am joyous in all my co-creative work with my Lord.